All right, so we're going to talk about something here that Duck is a liability in my opinion because he would always, I don't know how many times he said it, he's all right, boomer. Because he's a fucking douchebag,
I
okay?
said it just to trigger him.
Not a goddamn boomer.
Okay, okay, boomer.
See, there it is. There it is. I think Buck's older than I am.
No. Nope.
No?
Nope. Nope. We're 16 days apart.
Fuck.
Can I just, in all seriousness though, as a millennial, I hate labels.
Okay.
That was a joke. Millennial, it's a
Yeah,
label.
it was. Yeah, you're just shut up. Our next story comes from WGN TV. Baby boomers only. Dollar Tree manager out of a job over help wanted sign. A manager at an Indiana Dollar Tree caused some controversy after posting a help wanted sign that insulted Generation Z workers last week. So just before we move on, what is Gen Z at this point? What are we considering Gen Z? What year?
Isn't that like the early 2000s and upwards?
I think.
I'll look that up real quick. Give me a second. I'll let you know.
Keep looking. An NBC affiliate, WNDU, reported the Dollar Tree went viral after a manager posted a handwritten sign after two cashiers quit. I apologize for us closing again. My two new cashiers quit because I said their boyfriends couldn't stand here the entire shift. The sign went on to advise against hiring Gen Z workers, saying they don't know that work actually means. Now hiring baby boomers only. Thanks, the sign concluded. The sign was taken down, but it was up long enough for people to take photos of it. Dollar Tree Incorporated responded to the news of the sign, telling WNDU it was not authorized by the company. We are aware that the unauthorized sign was posted at our store for a brief period of time. The handwritten message was absolutely not approved or condoned by our company. WNDU reported the manager no longer works at Dollar Tree. While the sign was attention grabbing, some consider it to be discriminatory towards younger workers. According to the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, age discrimination can happen when a manager treats an applicant or employee less favorably because of his or her age. However, while the Age Discrimination and Employment Act protects workers age 40 or older from discrimination, younger workers are not covered by the law. Instead, states may have laws to protect younger workers from discrimination. Indiana, however, is not one of those states. While state laws protecting individuals who are at least 40 years of age, but not yet 75. So it's not discriminatory. You can absolutely say you're too young to work here. But, you know, I found the sign kind of amusing, really. Because the fact of the matter is, the guys told his cashiers their boyfriends can't hang out in the store all day, and they quit. I mean, I think the guy has every right to be upset. It probably wasn't an appropriate or a good idea, for that matter, to post that sign in the window, but what's the uproar about? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean,
why is this national news?
He didn't do anything against the rules.
No, but people don't like it. But people don't like it. It hurt their feelings.
Well, just to let you know, Gen Z is covering the age or the birth years of 1997 through 2012.
97.
So,
jeez.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm
see,
almost
you
in
know,
that.
I don't really like this chart because it says millennials are 81 through 96, and like there's a whole bunch of like disparities and you know opinions on when these age years ranges are actually too, because our you know people say that I'm a zillennial because I was born back in the 20th century in the year of 1983.
No, it's giggity 3 because
No.
the Kaiser stole our word for 80.
Yeah. Well, there we go. But no, you know, back in, they say that I'm a zillennial, like born right on the cusp, and I'm like, I don't even give a shit. I'm Buck, and you know,
And I'm here to...
if
Never mind.
well, yeah, that's I was gonna go there, and that's why I kind of stumbled. I was like, maybe I ought to pick a better case. But
Yeah.
no, man. But in all reality, like, you know, if you're going to fill up my water bottle for me, I don't give a shit. Like that's my criteria for a human being is definitely like I've widened my algorithm. So,
So
your birth years like that, what,
I
you know.
will now. This is admitted. I will when I go to like places like a Walmart or whatever, and I see all the cashiers. I tend to gravitate towards the self checkout because I don't got to deal with that nonsense. Um,
Yep.
and I don't. I'm not saying that you should not employ teenagers. No, entry level jobs are there for a reason. They exist so that you can learn how to, you know, have that type of ability to speak to people and have that communication skill. Uh, they serve a purpose. You're there so the company can use your labor, but at the same time you're using it as a skill base. So I don't have a problem with teenagers working. I have a problem with us not actually being able to teach the teenagers how to work appropriately. But this is the guy who put the sign up. Look at it this way as a public service announcement. If you're a teenager looking for a job, I would appreciate a sign like that because, well, at least I know I don't want to work for this guy because it's not going to work out
Yeah.
well. It's a great warning sign, folks. Maybe okay, I'll go work at the Dollar General down the street.
That's a really good point, man. Because the first thing I say to myself when I see a is,
Okay, Buck, you need to take about a half a step closer to your mic or something because I can't. You keep breaking up.
okay. The first thing that I would say to myself upon seeing a sign like that is, well, I don't want to work for you. Bye.
Exactly.
Like that's where it would be. I'd rather find out that I don't want to work for you before even going into the store, before even shaking your hand or picking up a job application. Knowing that you don't want me working there automatically excludes you from being a person that I want to work for. I'll move on.
And
Let's not waste each other's time with this, okay?
yeah, here's something that's really dumb to post that in the first place because first of all, not every teenager is going to act like that. But second of all, the job market has flipped now after COVID,
Indeed.
where when I was looking for my first job, I had to be the best employee possible to get chosen out of all the people I was competing against. Now, the jobs are competing to get the people that are willing to work because, there's a whole workforce that retired early with COVID. They're not coming back.
Duck.
There's a whole bunch of people that are probably still milking what?
So no, I was gonna just tell you, like next Tuesday, we are with my employer. I'm not gonna go much further than that. We're trying to hire a gaggle of seasonal employees right now, and we're having an event, and we're not publicizing it, and this won't come out until Wednesday, so people aren't gonna hear it. Essentially, if you show up with a filled out application on Tuesday, there's no interview. You're going straight to orientation. We are hiring you.
Yep. The job market has flipped.
We are literally, if you show up with a signed application on Tuesday, I am doing, the event is at 4:00. At 4:15, I'm starting a new employee orientation. It's that bad. Trying to find people to work now is very difficult. You're in a competition, and right now in my area, I have a very large amount of unemployment. We could there's enough people here available to fill the positions, but I don't like that when people say, "Oh, nobody wants to work." No, nobody wants to work for you because you're a douche or you're paying a lot less than the store down the street. It's you have to be competitive. Right now it's a workers' market. That's the way I guess I can put it. It is a workers' market. You can go out there and the jobs. They may not be the jobs you want, but you can still leverage a better paycheck out of them.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, what are you seeing right now, Duck, on your end? Because you work in a little bit different industry than I do. With new guys coming in, are you seeing younger or older new hires?
A little bit of a mix of both. I work for a trucking company. That's all I'll say. So for new drivers coming in, there's mostly younger guys, like a little bit younger than me, like in their early 20s. But every once in a while, we get older gentlemen that are just moving to another trucking job.
So
But
is it a lot less new to the industry and more people looking for the job that pays better and just moving on to a different company?
not mostly new people in the industry.
Wow, that's actually quite surprising. But then again, you are seeing a lot of the older
I
folks in the workforce that just left with the pandemic.
I will say that they are retiring at a much, much more rapid rate than they're being hired.
Well,
It's
you
going to be a big problem.
you still see a lot of mentality with people that are much older than us. That you have to be able to work. You have to be in there. You don't take a sick day. You don't take a vacation because you have to work. No, I have a couple employees that are direct reports to me, and they show up to work and they're like sick. I'm like, why are you here? Well, it's not that, but go home. Just go home. Because I can guarantee you, if you and I both left tomorrow, everything is going to keep going. They're going to stumble for a little while, but they're going to replace us within 2 weeks, and and the world will continue to rotate. You are not going to simply, the industry is not simply going to stop because you took a day off. And I would much rather you go home, take care of yourself, come back healthier and happier, than come in here and look like you're on death's doorstep. And on top of that, bring the sickness to me.
Yeah,
Go home.
that is a big thing.
I fully endorse people, just taking a day off. People call in, I'm sick, I can't come in. Okay. Well, do I have to get a doctor's note? No. If you're
Get better.
Get better. I fully endorse, people taking a mental health day. If you just wake up in the morning and say I can't, then you're not going to be any good to me anyway. So just don't. Stay home, relax, recharge your batteries, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's
That's
very respectable.
Well, a lot of people make it more complicated, and like you both have said, the way that the work industry is versus what, say, 20 years ago. When Raz and I were first starting, not even first starting, we Raz was already in the workforce, but 20 years ago, getting a job was a completely different kind of freaking animal, man. You had classes on how to write resumes, make yourself look better, and you got to sell yourself to a company. Now, show up with a completed application, and hopefully you've got footwear appropriate for the work, but we'll work with whatever you got.
Really. I used to teach, in let's just say probationers and inmates. Let's just call it that. That's what it is. I used to teach them how to write resumes. I'd help them write resumes, and I'd have mock interviews and teach them how to interview. I would teach them how to do online applications because there is an algorithm to those. But now it's literally, well, you're here. So it's definitely a workers' market. Going back, we got to rate this guy.
What do we want to give this Yahoo? I'm not even I'm thinking like a 2.
I'm thinking
like
1.
If that, maybe 1.
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, I'm saying 1. It was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But also doesn't really harm anyone. So
it didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude was angry, and he had every right to be angry. Staffing problems suck. All right, our next story comes from abcnews.com. Warrant issued for female corrections officer who went missing with inmate accused of murder. Have we been following this, either one of you?
Not really. No.
Nope.
Okay. This is a treat. Okay. So a manhunt is intensifying in Florence, Alabama after an escaped murder suspect and a corrections officer have been missing for days. A warrant has been issued for Lauderdale County Assistant Director of Corrections, Vicky White, on charges of committing and facilitating an escape. Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton said in a news conference on Monday. Vicky White participated in the escape of inmate Casey White. Keep that in mind. The sheriff said, adding, whether she did it willingly or she was coerced, threatened, we're not really sure. The employee and inmate who went missing on Friday are not related. The sheriff said law enforcement had no idea where they are, but promised they will be brought back to justice. On Friday morning, Vicky White allegedly told her colleague that she was taking 38-year-old Cassie White to the Lauderdale County Courthouse for a mental health evaluation, though no court appearance was scheduled for the inmate. Vicky White violated Sheriff's Office policy by escorting Casey White alone, the sheriff said. Vicky White also allegedly told her colleague she was going to seek medical attention after dropping the inmate off at court because she wasn't feeling well, but Singleton said the office confirmed that no medical appointment was made. Vicky White sold her house in February of 2022, one day before Casey White returned to jail while she was worked for the upcoming court appearances. Vicky White has been talking about retiring for the last few months and turned her paperwork in on Thursday. The two went missing on Friday, which was set to be her last day of work. At least she turned in her notice, right? Authorities are reviewing the video, see if she spent an extraordinary amount of time at his cell. She has several opportunities each day to be in contact with any inmate, said the sheriff. Singleton called Vicky White a 17-year veteran of the sheriff's office and an exemplary employee. The employees are just devastated, the sheriff said. Nobody saw this coming. Casey White is charged with 2 counts of capital murder in September of 2020 for stabbing a 58-year-old Connie Ridgway, authorities said. He could face the death penalty if convicted. Casey White previously planned an escape from the Lauderdale County Detention Center in fall of 2020, but officials were thwarted the plot before he could attempt it. When officials got word of the plot, he had found a homemade knife in his possession and learned that he was planning to take a hostage. Casey White was subsequently transferred to state prison, where he remained until earlier this year, when he returned to Lauderdale County facility for court appearances related to the murder charge. Marty Keeley, U.S. Marshal for the Northern District of Alabama, called this a major case for the United States Marshal Service. Keeley noted that Casey White may be a standout due to his height, because he's 6'9" tall. Anyone who sees him is urged to call 911. The Marshal's office is offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to Casey White's capture and a $5,000 reward for information leading to Vicky White. Okay. Before I say anything, Buck, what do you see holes in this story?
Wow. There are so many. Let's just start with selling your house or putting in your 2 weeks notice. Your last day of work is day. Come on.
Well,
everything points to that.
Well, here's the thing. Like most departments, policy, and corrections facilities, what have you, all over the country, they each have their own book of policies. But here's the thing. If I worked in a facility and we're familiar with the policies, I could probably go and within a week be pretty comfortable working at any other facility in the United States, because our correctional system's pretty much, they're all based on one another. So you find a best practice, and the whole industry, quote unquote, kind of goes to it. So most facilities are run, despite
it's
some
kind of
variations.
it's like a cookie cutter. It's like a cookie cutter approach.
Right.
It really is.
So a couple things here. There was more than her in on this. Or there was some serious overhaul needing done in the sheriff's department. One, a female officer is not transporting a male inmate alone. Period. End of story. Let's take gender out of it. A single officer is probably not transporting an inmate alone. End of story.
Well, look at the guy's charges. The guy was
that
man right there,
facing the death penalty.
Three officer transport at minimum, and it would be 3 officer transport in an emergency situation like life or fucking death, and all we can find are 3 officers. That's who's going. What if you can only find 2? Then dude's gonna die.
Yeah,
that's how that rolls.
I have literally stood in full uniform with the vest on, with scrubs on over top of it, standing in an operating room watching an appendectomy, because we were not allowed to leave the inmate. We had to be within arm's reach of the inmate at all times.
All the time.
There is a strict adherence to policy, and that's what Buck just said. Is kind of he's saying it. It sounds like he's joking, but it's not. Well, we're not going to let you take your gun on the helicopter. Well, then I'm not letting my inmate go on the helicopter. Well, he's going to die. Then he dies.
then he dies. Like, those are the rules. Those are the rules. For her to even, like, like,
Who
somebody
opened the
signed.
door?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there has to be. Oh,
Who opened the
either
door?
that or
Because here's the thing, folks.
serious
You
overhaul
in a
this
detention facility, correctional facility, prison, jail, what have you. You can't open a door by yourself. It has.
Nope.
You can open maybe one, but the next door has to be done remotely. There is no let yourself in or out. You know, I have
not since the fucking 50s.
exactly. And even then, it usually was you only had half the keys. Somebody else on the other side had the other half. So
Yeah.
there was this whole either there was multiple people in on this, or they need to fire a lot of people.
I actually think that firing a lot of people should happen either way, whether there was somebody in on it or.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But you know, weird things happen in jail. Weird things happen in jail. Period.
Buck,
You know.
wait a minute. I'm sorry, Duck. Have you ever been arrested?
No.
Okay. So you've never seen the inside of a facility. Let me tell you this. There's a lot of jokes. Everyone says about don't drop the soap. You know, you're going to learn what it's like to be with a man, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, those jokes, that this stuff happens. But here's the thing. There's a lot of fucking going on in a jail. Oh, God, yes. There is a lot of fucking.
Oh, yeah.
The place might as well smell like sex. There's inmates,
should.
there's there's inmates fucking inmates, there's officers fucking inmates, there's officers fucking officers. It is a veritable whorehouse. It's it's disgusting. It really is. Once you find out about everything that goes on back in there, it is disgusting. You know, if you have any sense of morals, you cannot last in that field very long.
And I'll tell you what, right now, going in there and thinking that you're going to maintain the mentality, oh, I'm just going to do my job and go in and go out every day and nothing will affect me, I promise you that won't. I promise you that mentality is a very, very false sense of security. Things will affect you. Things will get to you. And things will happen, and there's nothing you can do to control it. A lot of times all you can do is just sit there and laugh at your coworker who's being, you know, pretty much molested by an inmate who's only one arm with a fingernail.
Yeah, that happened to Buck, by the way.
Yeah, and the guy laughing was Raz. And yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you.
She only had one arm, but she on where that one arm should be, there was a finger. So there was a finger coming out of her shoulder, and she kept trying to touch him.
Yeah.
She kept trying to touch me with it. She just in love with me.
I was like, "What you want me to do? Handcuff her?"
That's what you remember. You remember, like, that's what I said to the lieutenant. Lieutenant's like, "Oh, well, that's inappropriate." I'm like, "What am I supposed to do? I've only been working here for 3 weeks. Where is this in the training manual?"
Sounds like you didn't have a leg to stand on.
No.
She had legs.
No, I didn't. She
No.
had legs, and I'll tell you what. You want to talk about? No lie, man. That girl could sling a fucking mop.
Oh yeah,
That girl could sling a fucking mop.
She was the corridor cleaner on night shift. She's the one that did all the mopping.
Yeah, that girl with one arm could sling a mop better than like an entire cleaning crew.
But
Like,
he
she
was
went
saying
at-
though. But he's saying though that was like 3.5 weeks in, and in that 3.5 weeks there was an inmate trying to get at him. We had a female CO that male COs were letting her come on their block and arranging so this male inmate and her could go in the closet and fuck. There was officers that would, a male and female officer, you knew if they were going to do perimeter patrol together, they're going to be a while because they're going to stop down where the cameras don't see and they're going to, you know, do shit back behind the fence. I mean, it was horrible. There was so much going on. It was
Yeah. So
like, how is this happening?
The whole, you know, corrections officer taking hostage bullshit. I'm not buying that at all.
No.
I'm not buying that at all.
No,
Are they
and-
married?
No, they're not related. But you know,
Oh.
they both just happen to have the same last name. But here's the the other thing is when this story first broke, and it's been going on now for well over a week, they kept saying, "Oh no, he probably took her hostage," or "Oh no, she might be dead," and I'm like, "Nah,
Nope.
she facilitated this shit. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yep.
There's no way she didn't." Nah.
Every single dot connects back to.
Yeah, there is
Period.
literally no way she wasn't in on this. And now, at least they're finally admitting it, and they're saying they're looking for her as well. I mean, because...
And you know what? There's somebody who's going to be like, oh, well, you know, her mental health and this and that, and she was taken. It's like,
oh, no, the
okay.
inmate manipulated
Okay.
her.
No. You know what? We get trained. You get training on that, on
Kinda.
inmate games.
Kinda.
Well, they try. They let you know that it happens. Like, I'm sorry, man. You know, Department of Corrections doesn't spend multi-million dollars in training videos. But they do their best to be like, hey, dipshit. Inmates are going to try whatever they can to get anything they can from you. And it all starts with a pack of gum. You know, it all starts with just one piece of chewing gum. You do that, and they got you. And you know what? You know, people can say what they want to about me and the way that I worked. I was a really nice and very tolerant and patient officer, but I didn't let anybody.
Yeah, see, I wasn't liked. I was not liked at all, but I was respected.
This is true. But the common denominator is that we didn't buy into inmate drama bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
if you ever
we
hear of
had-
somebody saying that they retired from a correctional facility, they're dirty. There's no you cannot last in a facility that long without being dirty or corrupt in some way.
And whether it's corrupt for the inmates, corrupt for the system itself, you have been corrupted on one end of that fence or another.
You know, they talk about
If you retire
an
in
inmate
corrections.
becoming institutionalized. So does the staff. You know, when people say, you know, when I mention prison, oh, did you do jail time? I say, yep, did life on the installment plan, 8 hours a day. And it takes a toll on you. It can literally scar you mentally just working there because of dealing with you would think it's us versus them, you know, the staff versus the inmates, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You don't know who's on what team, ever.
Jeez.
It is.
Nope.
I would not wish that job on anyone.
So was Orange is the New Black? Was that like a
You know,
decent
the first
depiction?
the first couple seasons of that were very, very accurate. And then it kind of went off the rails, you know. But it was for a female facility. I mean, I never worked any female only facility, but you know, that kind of the way things ran were very accurate. You know, you had whoever wrote the script and was the the PA on that show worked in a prison.
I think it was written by somebody that was a former inmate.
I'm saying the people
even better.
but the people that were like working behind the scenes,
okay.
because they were talking about both sides. You know, the conversations that the COs were having, the conversations the inmates were having, they were all dead on at first, and then like I said, the show kind of went off the rails and got ridiculous. But you know,
You know why you and I have been friends for almost 20 years after meeting in a prison, is because Raz and I, we never ever associated at work unless we had to. We were, and it wasn't because we didn't like each other at work.
because we weren't allowed to.
Well, that was a big part of it. We definitely worked too well together. But as far as like the inner office politics and shit like that go, we never bought into that. Oh, well, so-and-so said that Raz said that this about you. Like, no, he didn't. Raz didn't say that about me. Yeah, good luck. Nice try. Same on the other end. We'd talk about it and laugh after hours. Like, can you believe this guy thought that he could, get away with this kind of crap? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And we never talked about our personal lives on the inside either.
It was funny. My oldest son, I don't even know if Buck knew that my wife was pregnant. I don't think you knew, did you?
You told me, I think, just shy of being born your first. And yeah, you definitely kept me out of the loop on, but you did everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
honestly, no,
and
I wasn't going to tell anybody, and the only reason that somebody found out is because a CO that had left and went into nursing, she came in and did his blood stick the day he was born. Other than that, nobody would have known. Nobody would have fucking known. And I was very, very, intent on keeping my personal life my business. And there was so many rumors that everyone thought I was like in the military, some kind of like super secret shit, because nobody knew anything, and that was, and that bred, the rumor mill to go, and I never corrected anybody. I let them make their own backstory for me, and some of the stuff was really like, I couldn't have wrote a better backstory.
Oh, some of the stuff was great. People would come up to me, they'd be like, "Oh, did you know about, whatever." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, tell me more." I go to work, I'd be like, "Yo, Raz, these people think that you did this." We just sit there and laugh. You didn't correct them. You didn't correct them, did you? No, I didn't correct them. It's none of my damn business.
I got a
people to give me cigarettes.
I got a commendation one time, and it was so like commendable. There was no like fanfare with it. It was literally, I got called to the shift commander's office, and they handed it to me and said, "Here, you got a commendation." I'm like, "All right," and I threw it in my locker. And then like a week later, like, "Hey, how come you're not wearing that?" Because it went on our uniform, and I was like, "Well, do I have to?" So I didn't want the pin on my shirt because I didn't want to dick with it all the time. So eventually I had to put it on my shirt, and my shirt was already horrible with pins. And everyone was like, "What that's for?" And I'm like, "None, yeah." And what it was for is an officer had a heart attack, and I responded to it. I found him, and regardless, it got to everyone thought I got it for assaulting an inmate. A guy that took a swing on me, and I took him down. Didn't even hit him. I just did some like judo stuff, and he pressed charges on me and tried to say I assaulted him, and didn't. He tried to press charges, but
oh man, I remember that, dude. They tried to call me during that investigation.
Yeah.
That slimy internal affairs captain we had.
Yeah, and everyone just assumed that I got that commendation for kicking this guy's ass.
Called me and he's like, "What do you know about this and this and this?" I was like, wasn't even at work that. Well, you're friends with Raz, aren't you? Like, everybody says that you and Raz are friends on the outside. I'm like, yeah, and I was not here in the prison that day. How would I be able to give you details about an incident that I wouldn't even, like, you weren't even on my radar? I was changing diapers all day. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. So we kind of went down like a big long rabbit hole here, and Duck's kind of like, I'm just along for the ride because he's got nothing to contribute, and I'm sorry.
I'm just listening to the Social Liability podcast right now.
Yeah, Duck's just
the live edition.
Right.
This means that our view count's going to go down by 1 after the episode. Still
actually,
into this.
The episodes I'm on, I've listened to with my girlfriend so far.
Oh, what does she think?
She likes it.
Oh, good.
Even when I was like, I didn't feel like I was super solid in that first episode because I just hadn't done the whole like improv, talk to a camera kind of thing for a while. But she liked it. She laughed a lot. So
I think you did great, man.
We've
wonderful.
actually got a lot of compliments there, Duck. So bravo, and thank you for filling in. We do appreciate that a lot because you were my first call, and you were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So it was pretty cool.
Well, real quick, what do we want to give this idiot?
Oh, I'm scoring the female officer. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm scoring her a 5. She helped a murder suspect escape.
I'll co-sign that.
Yeah.
Anybody that he hurts after this
is on her.
Is on her hands.
Yeah. And what a way to end your career, Damn fool.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a great way to end the podcast.
I mean,
come on, man. This lady really just like tied it all up for us.
Well, like he said, folks, that is the end of the podcast. And we'd like to ask that you, if you enjoy the show, please hit the subscribe button. Please share it. Maybe tell a friend. Try to get somebody else involved. What the hell? If you have any stories you'd like to contribute to the show that we can cover, typically if someone sends us a story, we almost always do it. You can send them to socialliability@icloud.com. You can check us out on our YouTube channel. Just search for Social Liability Podcast. And hopefully in the near future, we can have Duck back again for another episode. It's just, depending on his big boy schedule, we'll see what happens. But that being said, folks, I am the Raspberries. They are the Buck and the Duck. And we wish you all a happy and safe week. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Social Liability Podcast.